What's going on, YouTube? I want to talk to y'all about a couple times in my life where I simply outgrew my friend group, and I had to I had to make the very uncomfortable decision to kind of be alone for a little bit, because it's like going through a breakup, right? Some of us rebound quick, right? Some of us, we're already looking for the next prospect. Kind of like how they say do, like with your work, right? With jobs, they say, don't leave a job without having something else lined up. And a lot of us can do that in relationships too. You'll have something lined up to where you'll leave one person and just be on to the next. But a lot of us, if you're like me, a lot of us, anytime I've broken up with somebody in the past, and I haven't had many relationships, but I've always taken a long time by myself. And I had similar stints of solitude after outgrowing certain friend groups. When I was in high school, I got in with a crowd who, you know, good kids, good kids, not bad kids. Um, we used to smoke, we used to crack jokes, real carefree, go with the flow, chill type of vibe. And that was kind of my identity. I wanted to be, you know, just calm, cool, collected at all times. That being said, I was smoking. I did not care for academia. I didn't care to learn. I didn't care to learn about school subjects that didn't really come to me naturally. So for instance, like math didn't come to me naturally. It didn't come to me naturally. And so I kind of made a point to not really try to learn it. Same with like science. Science never really came to me. It just didn't really make sense to me, and so these are subjects where I cheated in at great lengths. I would just cheat. I would cheat in class. I would cheat on the tests. And if the test wasn't mandatory, then I would just flunk the test and I wouldn't care. Now, subjects like English, social studies kind of came to me a little more naturally. Subjects like gym. Um, Actually, I almost failed high school because of gym, because they required you to wear shorts. It's just the dumbest thing ever. They're like, hey, you got to buy our shorts and you have to wear these shorts. You got to change. I didn't want to change. I wasn't trying to go to the locker room, take off my pants, put on shorts, and go to the gym. So, I would just pop up in gym with my jeans on. And even to this day, I go to the park with jeans on and I kick butt in handball wearing jeans. Like, it's just the dumbest thing. Literally, school, I'm getting off on a tangent, but school is designed to freaking make you more malleable, right? They're kind of like preparing you for the workforce, and they're preparing you to take orders, even when they don't exactly make the most sense. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My friend groups in high school eventually eventually got to a point where I realized, like, we're going on two different trajectories. Some of them were flunking out of school. Like, some of them were literally not getting their diploma. And I always made it in my head, because I didn't always start like that. And when I was younger, elementary, middle school, I kind of liked school and I was like competitive with it. Like, I wanted to get good grades. So yeah, some of them were like okay with failing and just getting a GED. And I'm like, that's too much. Like, that's way too dumb. Like, I'm not that dumb now. You know what I'm saying? Some of them were getting in trouble with the law. Back then marijuana was illegal. Nowadays it's super legal. Same activity, mind you. Same activity. Buying marijuana, rolling it, smoking it. Same thing people do now. You could walk outside, do it. You could do it anywhere. That was dead illegal. Like, you're going to jail. Cops see you smoking marijuana, you're literally going to jail. I actually went to jail for a couple hours. I got caught smoking marijuana with some of these friends. And yeah, they ended up letting me out. Thankfully, I didn't get anything on my record, but I did get put in cuffs over some marijuana. Crazy story. Literally just smoking in the park, smoking, chilling. early Saturday, was it Saturday or Sunday morning at the handball court, me and my two boys, um, just chilling, smoking. And next thing you know, we turn around and literally, y'all, this cop car, we were so absent minded and just so comfortable. Foggy morning, by the way, nice, misty. It was a vibe. Cop car is in the park, literally in the park. Like they drove up up into the park, and we turn around. We're like, oh snap! My boy David throws the blunt down. It's like this small, maybe. He got some big beef and broccoli Tims on. He just starts like eviscerating the blunt with his shoe. And one of my other boys, he had a dime bag on him. And it's so crazy to talk about it like this because weed is literally legal now. Like, bro, how is this same activity just perfectly fine? Like, I'm talking about he had a dime bag in his pocket, and that was like a big deal. Like, they caught him with the dime bag, and they arrested us all, whatever. They walked up, they told David to lift his shoe. They were still, little bits and pieces, and they were just watching us. They were literally watching us the whole time, bro. By the time we turned around, it was literally too late. Like, they're like right there, literally right there watching us. They're just watching us sife. Like, they had to have watched us sife like a good 3/4 of that blunt. It was a Dutch Master, actually. And yeah, they put us in cuffs, took us to the station. We sat in there for like 5 hours, bro. Like 5, 6 hours, maybe longer. End up calling my parents, talk to my mom. I don't know what the conversation was like with my mom or whatever. One of us got out early. Wow, my mom just texted me, speaking of my mom. And yeah, I think I was the second to last one to get out. Second to last one to get out. I waited for my boy David to get out. And yeah, it was all good. It was all good. We just did a couple hours. But yeah, I realized at a point that like I was kind of leaning towards a different lifestyle than some of my other friends were. They weren't thinking about college. Some of them were like selling drugs too, and it's just like I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not that into it. I'm not that into it. And in the back of my head, it came to a point where I realized that smoking wasn't exactly for me. I kind of wanted to get more healthy. I figured that more air in my lungs was better versus marijuana. There was a point in time where I'm like, more marijuana in my lungs is probably better. Then I'm like, maybe oxygen isn't so bad. You know what I'm saying? Maybe oxygen isn't so bad. I could do with a little more oxygen. And yeah, I remember going through a long period of solitude from high school going into college. And I kind of spent my whole college experience, all 2.5 years, pretty much in solitude. Not many friends. Um, I got into the books. I found a passion again for reading and learning. And I'm like, you know what? I actually kind of want to be smart. Like, I want to get good at school again. And I remember curating my professors with this website called Rate My Professor. And so I was like curating my experience through college, picking professors that got like good reviews and, certain key things that I look for, not a lot of homework, great, he's funny, or, she got a good personality, and, wherever I could at least. And I actually had a good time. I learned a lot. I would sit in the front of all my classes, and I really only interacted with the professors, really. I didn't really take to any of the students. I was a little antisocial. I just wasn't interested in people at that point in time. Well, that was one time I kind of outgrew my friends. Another time, I would say even before that, and still, if we rewind back to high school, I got into gaming a lot. And, I was really big on gaming. There came a point in time where I really didn't want to play that many games. I kind of wanted to go outside more. I was getting more into sports. I wanted to be outside, and gaming kind of it was monopolizing a lot of my time. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with games. I'm gonna get rid of my Xbox, get rid of all my games, and I kind of again, I kind of just went through a period of being alone. But long story short, I say that to say that it's okay to outgrow your friend group, or the people you're around, and it's never a wrong thing to want to level up. In life, we're gonna continuously, at least my life, I would like it to be a continuous series, sequences of just like leveling up, getting better, getting smarter, getting more empathetic, getting more business savvy, getting more, you know, genuine, getting more funny, you know, improving my speaking skills, and the people you're around can either hurt or help your progression. Love y'all. See y'all in the next video. Peace.